Is
Yep.
he an actual
Yeah! Yeah! One sec, I'm just watching this guy spin around in a circle. Hello and welcome to this DEF CON 2 2v2 Warno tournament. We're on Hesse, we're in the qualifiers, and we're playing, we're watching the players. I really messed that up. In blue, we've got Menkar and Bottom Feeder, and their team name is like Blue Yellow Submarine, I think? Yes, Blue Yellow Submarine, they're Ukrainian. And the other team, MythsG and Vladimir Lemon, and their team name is Trickle Economics. They're communists. And yeah, so MythsG and Vladimir Lemon, we saw a really good game on Hesse with these two players, and they played the same divs they're playing now, but they are up against an extremely strong team in Menkar and Bottom Feeder, who chose to play Pack this time, which is quite rare. We've seen Menkar and Bottom Feeder on this map a lot. It's very common for them. What they do is Menkar sits here, and he might attack Hotel, and Bottom Feeder just sort of Zerg rushes all the way into these zones here. So we'll see how that goes against KDA. I definitely think that 56Y is a better idea than KDA. Like a way better idea. Because it's just better. And they get the grads and everything. And they do have a fob. Whereas KDA is kind of weak. I mean, in 1v1 you can take advantage of the bombers, the bomber spam, but here I think you're just going to be at a disadvantage. So casting the deployments, as we predicted, so Menkar's on the left, he's opening quite a light opener actually, so BMP3s, lots of Spectre Vodka just to hold the line. He's got the fob because his teammate doesn't get that. And then presumably he's got some planes. Well, that might actually just be his whole deployment there. No, he must have some planes. He must have some planes. So yeah, he's going to sit there and then attack if he can, but I think he just wants to build up for a bit first because he doesn't really have a lot there. And then on the right, we've got Bottom Feeder. He's got the Spetsnaz Groove Stingers for the opener. He's opted not to bring the Descent ATGMs, the forward deployed ATGM cars, or the forward deployed SPG-9 cars. I think it's definitely worth bringing at least one of those. But he just wants grind, so that's 2 extra cards of infantry basically, if you don't bring those. So yeah, Resvedka BMP2, and just a bunch of guys on the right. So Iglas for AA, he's going to unload those there. Conkers for anti-tank, he's going to try and get there. We'll see how it goes. And then 5 orcs in melters. So the orc is 45 points for 10 men, security, no AT. And then this thing is, you tend to see the orcs brought without this because it's really expensive for what it is. It's a car with, it looks really funny actually, I'll show you that. It's literally a Warhammer 40k vehicle, and it comes with orcs, and it's called a melter, so it's pretty funny div. So the advantage is it's basically the rockets, but the rockets aren't particularly great, and it's 40 points, which is quite expensive, so you tend not to see people use those. But if you can blob them together, get all the rockets firing at one thing, because you know the range is pretty decent, and then get them all back, I guess it can work. Looking at their, so there's only one. Okay, so there's 2 CVs, so they're gonna lose on the CV game if their opponent's brought 3. Switching to Trickle Up Economics. You've got a MythsG on the right with KDA. What? And oh yeah, of course, yeah, because neither of these divs has much heavy armor. It's not a good idea to go 2 infantry divs because I think Menkar's just going to run through this. KDA can't really defend open ground particularly well, but the idea is they want to focus the town, so they've got like 2 sets of guys just breaking through the town here. So lots of BMD2s, lots of infantry, but I think KDA's. I think we're going to see Menkar break through Hotel here. So we'll cast the game and we'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos, and they're bankrolling the channel. It makes it so I don't have to rely on ad revenue through views. I can just rely on these guys. It essentially works like Patreon, and yeah, it means that I can cast games between less known players as opposed to just cherry picking the best of the best games. and I want these players to be known, right? I mean, I saw Vladimir Lenin and MythsG's other 2 games, and they were really good games. And if it were not for the channel joiners, I would not have cast those games. And you'll note that, okay, so this is just like, what kind of opener is this? Where you just let somebody fly that up to you and kill all your guys. So I think Menkar's going to feel a bit more brave now that he's noticed that there's just like nothing here, and there's not even any fighters out for it. Okay, but this fighter is probably going to get shot by that MiG-29, so you need 2 fighters. Okay, a bit of a miss micro there, he didn't notice in time, so that... Oh no, what's he doing? Okay. It worked out for him in the end, Vladimir. I thought he was going to die anyway, so I was like, well, why not try and kill that? But he changed target to hit this, and that caused that to rout, and he survived. So he saved himself. Over here, you know, the red is here, and they really need to take advantage of the fact that they're basically 2v1 on this side, and they need to attack as fast as possible, because this is just not looking good at all for red on this side. Like, KDA in the open. As you can see, Menkar's realised there's nobody here. I'm just going to drive forwards. Buys another helicopter. I'm not sure about that. Prefer a tank. Awesome infantry. But it can work. I mean, there's no AA here, and they've not bought any. They've just not bought any AA, so they're really not. Just don't seem to want to defend hotel at all, and they're not attacking over here particularly quickly either. So it's looking pretty difficult for red. Gotta tell you, yeah, bit of a weird one. So bomb feeder, usually you'd see him attacking, but I think he's realised, I think they've twigged, okay, I need to defend, I'm 2v1, and, you know, Menkar, you go take that zone. So, there's no AA here still, they bought some now, but, yeah, so they're going to lose the homos there. They're going to try and snipe this, it's probably going to survive, because this thing ain't great, and the Strela might get hit on this, you'd expect to hit. Will it get a second shot? It will not. And yeah, that's wild. Over here, you know, red really need to push their advantage. There should be an ATGM in this here, and these guys should be moving up here. They really need to push their advantage. Although not having anybody here is a bit weird. But they were waiting for the Napalm Grad, I guess. Napalm Grad's gonna get not much of anything. But yeah, there needs to be all hands on deck here for both players to defend this zone, because, you know, defending is easier than attacking. So if there were just a few more units here, they'd be fine. But because there's literally nothing here, you just lose the ground. And once Menkar gets this Spetsnaz Vedka to there, which building is it? That one. Is that a building? No. If he gets it to there, then he just sees all the reinforcements, especially if he gets it to there. But even here, he's going to see everything. And, yeah, just poor strategy from red. I feel they clearly had an idea, but they're not executing it particularly well. And, like, there's nobody here. Kind of weird, given that, like, so Vladimir Lemon's entire force is just here. And, right, so look at the map. Vladimir Lemon, right there. And then the KDA player, MythsG, has to cover all this by himself. So that's pretty rough. Pretty rough for the KDA player. And so what's gone from a 2v1 has actually become a 2v1 here, because bottom feeder's attacking here, Menkar's attacking here, and only the KDA player is there to stop them. So that's really not fantastic. And you know, we saw such a strong showing from this team, Lemon team, last time. And you should know about the Strela because it shot him last time. Is he going to change altitude? He's not. And because he's over a tree there, he can't land. So he's going to start spinning around circles. And I expect to see an explosion any minute now. Yep, there it goes. And over here, oh, they're getting there. They're getting there. But pushing here is very slow. Whereas pushing here is quite quick because of the, you know, the ground involved. I mean, it depends on the defenses, but generally pushing towns takes longer. Pushing open ground is faster. Like I said, depending on the defenses. I like the Napalm Grad play. AT playing going for the tank. Doesn't fire though, and it's probably just going to eat Strela now. Alright. I'm going to speed this one up. So there's only 6 minutes left. I was ready to do that. Because, yeah, bottom feeder's just getting in uniform. Menkar's just getting in hotel. And these two between them haven't managed to take Papa there. So it's a shame because, like I said, when we saw these guys, you know, against some pretty good teams, they performed remarkably well. Like there's this guy called Woe Is Me who's ranked 2, and they had a game against them, and you should check that out. Just look for Trickle Up Economics, you know. So yeah, bottom feeder could definitely take this. There's just nobody there, and I think that the draft from blue was a lot better. Infantry div, tank div, whereas this is like airborne div, infantry div, and their strategy didn't really work out. Like bottom feeder just put about 6 units there, and well, no, it was more like 10 to 15, and he could afford to just leave that while he goes and works on something else. Yeah, so +8, and this is a very over game. Very over game. I think we've said everything that needs to be said. So GG. And we'll just wait for this to close out. Lemon surrenders, and Trickle Up Economics takes the L there. So, you know, bottom feeder, loads of games. 207 ranked games this patch. Wow. 1,600 games total. Menkar, 136 games this patch. In ranked and 1,600 total. Vladimir Lenin, 8 games this patch. 130 total, and for MythsG it just comes up with me. So, you know, to compare me to these guys, both of these guys play more than me, right? So they're a really strong team. And, you know, a lot of people, they say, how do you get so good? Well, you just play lots of games. That's it. Or at least that's most of it. Learning from your mistakes makes it so you don't have to play as many games as you would do otherwise. But yeah, bit of an overmatch there. And yeah, GG. I will see you in the next one. Please do leave that comment, and I'll see you around.